Dear students, in continuation with sample surveys on adolescents, we were looking at the Global Youth Tobacco Survey. Now let us discuss and know more about the methodology adopted for this survey. GYTS is a school-based survey of defined geographic sites which could be countries, provinces, cities, or any other sampling frame including subnational areas. The survey is not confined to member states of WHO. It can be conducted in any country. GYTS uses a two-stage cluster sample design that procedures representative sample of students in grades associated with the age group of 13 to 15 years. The sampling frame includes all schools with any of the identified grades. At the first stage, the probability of schools being selected is proportional to the number of students enrolled in the specified grades. At the second sampling stage, classes within the selected schools are randomly selected. All students in the selected classes attending school on the day of the survey are eligible to participate. Student participation is voluntary and kept anonymous by means of self-administered data collection procedures. GYTS sample design produces representative, independent, cross-sectional estimates for each site. For cross-site comparisons, data in this report are limited to students in the age group of 13 to 15 years. This report contains data from GYTS 2003 and GYTS 2006 by regions. This document also includes data from GSHS 2006. India GYTS 2003 was conducted state-wise in various states and administrative divisions, namely Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chandigarh, Delhi, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Orissa, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttaranchal, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. For the purpose of this report, all sites have been identified as states. These states represent 93.9% of the total population of India. The school's response rate was greater than 90% in all states and was 100% in 19 states. The students' response rate ranged from 70% to 95%. 19 states had student response rates between 80 to 89%. Altogether, more than 50,000 students from over 800 schools participated in the 28 surveys, with fieldwork being completed during 2000-2005 period. Most of the states had completed the survey by 2003 itself. India GYTS 2006 was conducted region-wise, covering the northern region consisting of Chandigarh, Delhi, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttaranchal and Uttar Pradesh, the southern region comprising Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the eastern region consisting of Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa and West Bengal, and the western region consisting of Goa, Gujarat and Maharashtra, the central region comprising of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, and finally the northeast region consisting of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. These regions represent 99.7% of India's total population. The school response rate was 96.7% and student response rate was 82.3%. Altogether, 12,086 students from 179 schools participated in the 6 regional surveys, with fieldwork completed during the first half of 2006. The overall response to this survey was as high as 81.8%. GSPS was done in the same schools that were selected in GYTS. All individuals working in the selected schools were eligible to participate in GSPS. The overall response rate was 80.6%. In total, out of 3,629 school personnel from 180 schools, 2,926 participated in the 6 regional surveys, with fieldwork completed during the first half of 2006. The 6 regional GSPS have been combined into a national estimate to be identified as India GSPS 2006. Both GYTS and GSPS used a standardized methodology for constructing sampling frames, selecting schools and classes, preparing questionnaires, carrying out field procedures, and processing data in India GYTS 2003 and India GYTS 2006. GYTS 2003 and 2006 data presented include tobacco use prevalence, ever cigarette smoking or initiation of smoking before age 10, current cigarette smoking, current use of tobacco products and other cigarettes, and exposure to second-hand smoke, which is also called as SHS, in public places. The data also include information on students' education in school about the dangers of smoking, students' exposures to tobacco advertisements on billboards, free sample distribution of tobacco products, smokers' attitude to quit, and access to and availability of tobacco products to minors. India GSPS Questionnaire 2006 report presents that on tobacco use prevalence, which is current cigarette use, current use of tobacco products other than cigarettes, and current use of any tobacco products, also current situation about existing tobacco policies and its implementation in schools. Percentage who reported that their school had policies prohibiting tobacco use among students and school personnel percentage who reported that their schools enforce the tobacco policy components of tobacco related curriculum, percent of school personnel who had access to teaching and learning materials about tobacco had received training to prevent tobacco use among the youth or had non-classroom programs to teach students about tobacco use prevention, and attitudes among school personnel regarding several tobacco control issues. Percent who concerned about youth tobacco use, implementing school policies, prohibiting tobacco use, percent who strongly agree that schools should have a policy prohibiting tobacco use among students, and a school personnel strongly agree that school personnel should get specific training to teach students to avoid or stop using tobacco. Now students, we will discuss about Global School-Based Student Health Surveys, which is also called as GSHS. The Global School-Based Student Health Survey, GSHS, was developed by the World Health Organization, WHO, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in collaboration with UNICEF, UNESCO, UNAIDS. GSHS are cross-sectional surveys that collect data from adolescents enrolled in middle to high schools approximately 13 to 17 years old. However, the Indian survey covered only middle school students approximately aged 13 to 15 years. GSHS measures behaviors and protective factors related to leading causes of mortality and morbidity among youth. What is the goal of GSHS? The goal of GSHS is to obtain systematic information from students to support school health and school health programs and policies globally. The purpose of GSHS is to provide data on health behaviors and protective factors among students, and also help countries develop priorities, establish programs, and advocate for resources for school health and youth health programs and policies. Another purpose is to allow international agencies, countries, and others to make comparisons across countries regarding the prevalence of health behaviors and protective factors. One more purpose is to establish trends in the prevalence of health behaviors of protective factors by country for use in evaluating school health and youth health promotion programs. Now we will see the methodology adopted for GSHS. GSHS is a school-based survey conducted primarily among students aged 13 to 17 years. The GSHS uses a standardized scientific sample selection process, common school-based methodology, and core questionnaire module, core expanded questions, and country-specific questions that are combined to form a questionnaire that can be administered during a regular class period. What are the core questionnaires modules? It is the 10 core questionnaire module addressed the leading causes of morbidity and mortality among children and adults worldwide. These 10 core areas are alcohol use, dietary behaviors, drug use, hygiene, mental health, physical activity, protective factors, sexual behaviors that contribute to HIV infection, other sexually transmitted infections and unintended pregnancy, tobacco use, violence and unintentional injury. Countries must include at least 6 of these 10 core modules with no changes in their questionnaire. Countries can add questions from a core expanded question list or from other sources. We will look at the weight, stratum and PSUs of this survey. The weighting process adds weight, stratum and PSU to every student record in a GSHS data file. All 3 variables are required to be used when analyzing GSHS data to appropriately represent the weighing process and the 2-stage sample design. We'll closely look at the weight process. The weighting allows GSHS results to be generalized to the entire population of students, not just those who took the survey. It allows one student to represent many other students with similar demographic characteristics. Weighting is necessary for all sample-based surveys since data are not collected from all members of the target population. So it's a representative survey. Weighting accounts the probability of selection of schools and classrooms, non-responding schools and students, and distribution of the population by grade and sex. For GSHS data to be weighted for the following conditions must be met. The sample from which the data were collected was scientifically selected at both school and classroom levels. All documentation forms were accurately completed. A high, more than 60% overall response rate was obtained. We'll see the stratum. Stratum reflects the first level of GSHS sample selection process, that is, schools. Stratum is assigned subsequently, starting with the school with the largest enrollment of students in the grades or sections or levels or forms that 13 to 17-year-olds usually attend, and continuing through the list to the school with the smallest enrollment. Each stratum usually consists of 1 or 2 schools depending on the size of the school. Schools with a very large enrollment that are selected with certainty are assigned their own stratum. The remaining schools are combined in groups of 2 and each group of 2 schools shares a stratum. We will have a look at the PSU. The PSU also describes the 2-stage sample design used for the GSHS. PSU reflects the second level of the GSHS sample selection process, that is, classrooms. PSUs are assigned subsequently, starting with the classrooms in the schools with the largest enrollment of students and continuing through the list to the classrooms in the schools with the smallest enrollment. Each PSU usually consists of 1 or more classrooms within a school. Each sampled classroom in the very large schools that were selected with certainty is assigned its own PSU. Sample classrooms in each of the remaining schools share a PSU. Students, now we will have a look at National Family Health Survey, which is called as NFHS. It is one of the important surveys held in India that gives various dimensions on health-related aspects of family, households and individuals. First National Family Health Survey, NFHS first, was conducted in 1992-93. The survey collected extensive information of population, health and nutrition with an emphasis on women and young children. 18 population research centers, PRCs, located in universities and institutes of national repute assisted IIPS in all stages of conducting NFHS 1. All the state level and national level reports for the survey have already been published in 48 reports. The National Family Health Survey second was conducted in 1998-99 in all 26 states of India with added features on the quality of health and family planning services, domestic violence, reproductive health, anemia, the nutrition of women and the status of women. The results of the survey have been already published. The third National Family Health Survey was conducted in 2005-2006. 18 research organizations, including 5 population research centers, carried out the survey in 29 states of India. The funding of NFHS 3 is provided by USAID, DFID, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, UNFPA, MOHFW and Government of India. ORC Macro, USA is providing technical assistance for NFHS 3 and the National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, and the National AIDS Research Institute, NARI, are providing technical assistance for the HIV component. The fourth National Family Health Survey was carried out in 2014 and 2015. NFHS 4 funding was provided by the Government of India, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the Department of International Development, DFID, the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and the MacArthur Foundation. Technical assistance for the HIV component of the survey was provided by the National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, and the National AIDS Research Institute. NFHS 4 is the first of the NFHS series that collects data in each of India's 29 states and all 7 union territories. Also, NFHS 4 for the first time will provide estimates of most indicators at the district level for all 640 districts of the country, including in the 2011 census. In NFHS 4, women aged 15 to 49 years and men aged 15 to 54 years are interviewed. The National Family Health Survey 2015-16 fourth series provides information on population, health, nutrition for India and each states and union territories. NFHS 4 for the first time provides district level estimates for many important indicators. The contents of previous rounds of NFHS are generally retained and additional components are added from one round to another round. In this round, information on malaria prevention, migration in the context of HIV, abortion, violence during pregnancy, etc. have been added. The scope of clinical, anthropometric and biochemical testing (CAP) or biomarker component has also been expanded to include measurement of blood pressure and blood glucose levels. NFHS 4 sample has been designed to provide district and higher level estimates of various indicators covered in this survey. However, estimates of indicators of sexual behavior, husband's background and women's work, HIV/AIDS knowledge, attitudes and behaviors, and domestic violence will be available at state and national level only. In the earlier rounds, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, designated International Institute of Population Sciences IIPS, Mumbai as the nodal agency to conduct NFHS 4. We will discuss about the major objective of this survey. The main objective of each successive round of the NFHS has been to provide essential data on health and family welfare and emerging issues in this area. NFHS 4 data will be useful in setting benchmarks and examining in progress in health sector in country has made over the time. Besides providing the evidence for the effectiveness of the ongoing programs, the data from NFHS 4 help in identifying need for new programs and area-specific focus. 4 survey schedules, household, women's, man's and biomarker were canvassed in local language using computer-assisted personal interviewing (CAPI). In the household schedule, information was collected on all usual members of the household and visitors who stayed in the household the previous night, as well as socio-economic characteristics of the household, water and sanitation, health insurance, number of deaths in the household in the 3 years preceding the survey, and other information of the women's characteristics, marriage, fertility, children's immunization, child care, nutrition, contraception, reproductive health, sexual behavior, HIV/AIDS, domestic violence, and other important issues were canvassed in the women's schedule. The man's schedule mainly covered the man's characteristics, marriage, his number of children, contraception, fertility, preferences, nutrition, sexual behavior, attitudes towards gender roles, HIV/AIDS, and other important issues. The biomarker schedule covered measurements of height, weight, and hemoglobin levels for children, measurements of height, weight, hemoglobin levels, blood pressure, and random blood glucose level for women aged 15 to 49 years and men aged 15 to 54 years. In addition, women and men were requested to provide a few drops of blood from a finger prick for laboratory testing for HIV. This fact sheet provides information on key indicators and trends for India. The figures of NFHS 4 and that of earlier rounds may not be strictly comparable due to differences in sample sizes, and NFHS 4 will be a benchmark for future surveys. NFHS 4 fieldwork for India was conducted from January 20, 2015 to 4th December 2016 by 14 field agencies that gathered information from 6,01,509 households and 6,99,000 women and 1,03,525 men were interviewed. Fact sheets for each state and union territories and district of India are also available separately. Now students, we will look at the National Crime Record Bureau, which is called as NCRB. The data collection and compilation process, the publication year refers to the calendar year 1st January to 31st December 2016. The data collection process including clarifications from the states, union territories, central agencies started in January-February 2017 and continued till September 2017. The annual state union territory data for crime in India is furnished by the 36 states and union territories in the NCRB prescribed performance in hard copy and as well as in soft copy through software applications developed by NCRB. Similar data is also furnished for 53 metropolitan cities by respective SCRBs and CIDs, that is metropolitan cities, which have the population of 1 million, which is 10 lakh or more as per population census of 2011. However, data pertaining to only 19 metropolitan cities which have crossed the population of 2 million, which is 20 lakhs, is being published. The data for remaining 34 metropolitan cities would however be available on NCRB website soon. The data is entered by state and UT policy at police stations and district level. A training is conducted every year for the functional officials, which are police constables, HCs, ASIs, SIs from all states and union territories to explain the various issues including entry of data in input tables. The consolidation of district state level data is done by state police agencies, NCRB or CID. The first level data validation is done at the police station or district level during the data capturing process itself through the validation checks provided in the NCRB application. Second level data validation is done at the time of consolidation of district data by the state police through the NCRB application. Third level of validation of state data is done by NCRB officials, including by director or joint director, admin, deputy director admin, CSO and other officers. Steep variations noticed over previous year both through applications as well as manual screening are communicated to the respective state and union territories for validation and rectification. Amendments, rectifications if any, in the data are incorporated in the database by NCRB. We'll discuss about central law enforcement agencies. Details of cases registered under Prevention of Corruption Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act, Direct Taxes Enactments, Custom Act, seizure under NDPS Act and others are being furnished by the respective central agencies, which are CBI, Central Board of Direct Taxes, Directorate of Revenues Intelligence, Narcotics Control Bureau and CAPFs or CPOs have been published in the various chapters and seizures. Compilation of NCRB. After receiving final data from all states and union territories, including metropolitan cities, all India data is generated by NCRB. The national level tables for the Crime in India publication are generated through the application and cross-checked for discrepancy if any. These tables are presented in the form of compilation, Crimes in India, Statistical Report. The comprehensive analysis of the crimes in India, including pictorial representation, is presented in the form of Crimes in India Compendium. The additional tables containing information which are not published in the Crime in India statistics are prepared and made available on NCRB website. The major cause of death among youth people, both male and female, is injury and self-inflicted harm or suicide. Deaths due to these reasons are the highest for young people amongst all ages, especially among females. A large proportion of females die during pregnancy and childbirth as well. In rural India, also a high proportion of deaths among youth, more than females, are due to suicide, drowning and vehicular accidents. The special characteristics of adolescents make them particularly vulnerable to road traffic accidents. About 23.5% of suicidal deaths are in the 15 to 19 age groups. Other major causes of death in rural areas are anemia and burns. Crimes against young people, crimes against girls range from eve teasing to abduction, rape, forced prostitution and trafficking, violence and sexual harassment. So students, in this module we discussed various issues affecting to youth health and the various surveys that have been imparted to understand the aspects and important health issues of young population. Thank you.